Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Anime Dreams. Today, we'll be delving into an intriguing fanfic topic. What if Juubi Naruto discovered a new dimension? Disclaimer: the content on this channel is intended solely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not claim ownership of any anime footage used in my videos. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Let's begin. Naruto now stood before the architect of the world's devastation, the one who had manipulated Obito into collecting the Baiju'u, and in doing so, had shattered Naruto's life. Madara had succeeded in reviving the Juubi, albeit in a larval state, even without the Kyuubi and Hachibi. The beast had since evolved into its true, terrifying form. Once fully transformed, the Juubi, a godlike demon, unleashed unparalleled destruction across the continent. Under Madara's command, the beast was left to ravage the lands at will. In mere hours, the 5 great villages were reduced to ruins, and now, the Juubi returned to its master to extinguish the last remnants of resistance. Despite the overwhelming odds, Naruto persisted. Obito and Sasuke had both fallen. Obito met his end in a battle against Kakashi and Might Guy in the ruins of the village hidden in the clouds. Guy, having unleashed all 8 gates, held Obito in place while Kakashi, using his Sharingan, deployed Kamui to obliterate Obito's heart. The battle claimed the lives of both Kakashi and Guy, despite their victory. Sasuke perished in a clash against the remnants of the Konoha 11. During this fight, Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, Kiba, and Neji were killed. Rock Lee also fell, sacrificing himself to save Sakura from a fatal Chidori strike. Shino managed to hold off Sasuke until Naruto arrived to avenge his fallen comrades. Hinata, Tenten, and Sakura met their end shortly after when an unrelenting wave of Zetsus overwhelmed them. The trio had taken down over 300 of the plant-like enemies before being overrun. Shino was later killed by the resurrected Orochimaru, who was then slain by Tsunade. The battle between the two Sannin raged for 3 days and nights until Tsunade used the Shiki Fujin to seal both Orochimaru's body and soul within the Shinigami, sacrificing herself in the process. The Kijis, with the exception of Gaara and Tsunade, died defending their villages, having been saved from near death by Katsuya's healing abilities. Killer Bee fought valiantly against the Juubi in a desperate attempt to protect Kumo after his brother's death, only to be drained of all his chakra, along with the 8 tails, by the Juubi's roots. Now, only Gaara, the Kazekage and former Jinchuriki of the Shukaku, and Naruto, the current Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, remained. They were the last shinobi of the 5 great nations still standing. Gaara, it looks like this is the end, Naruto said, turning to the red-haired Kazekage beside him. Both were exhausted, with only a fraction of their chakra remaining, while Madara, in his Edo Tensei form, possessed an inexhaustible supply. They faced impossible odds. It seems so, Naruto? Any last ideas? Gaara asked, his voice calm but resigned. He addressed Naruto, the last of the Uzumaki and the unofficial Rokudam Hokage, a title Naruto was given before Tsunade's battle with Orochimaru, though it was never formally recognized due to the daimyo's deaths. Naruto offered a sad smile. Yes, just one. But I won't survive it. I'm entrusting the world's fate to you. I will use the Shiki Fujin to seal both the Juubi and Madara inside myself, and then the Shinigami will consume me. Gaara's eyes widened at the suggestion. Summoning the Shinigami was a death sentence. No. I have nothing left to live for. My village, Kankuro, Tamari, Mitsuri. They're all gone. You're the only thing I have left, brother. I will die with you, Gaara said, a small but determined smile on his face. Naruto was visibly moved by Gaara's words. He returned the smile. Then let's do this and drag that bastard to hell with us, he declared, a defiant smirk forming on his lips, mirrored by Gaara. The two Kijis stood together, beginning the sequence of hand signs as the Juubi closed in on them. Recognizing the jutsu, Madara ordered the Juubi to attack. Undeterred, Naruto and Gaara completed the final hand sign and slammed their palms onto the ground. Summoning Jutsu, they shouted in unison as the dark form of the Shinigami manifested behind them. The Death God, with its dark purple skin, spiky white hair, and two protruding horns, appeared deathly thin beneath its white cloak. The Death God took the sword that was in his mouth and looked down at Naruto and Gaara. "Why have I been summoned?" the deity asked the two ninja in front of him. The aura of dread and death filled the area when the god spoke in his gruff and angry voice that sounded like several voices speaking at once. Naruto stepped forward to address the deity before him, resolute in his decision. "We need you to seal Madara Uchiha and the Juubi within me," he declared to the Shinigami. Naruto was fully aware that this choice would forever bind his soul within the Shinigami's domain, alongside the two formidable entities standing before him. The Shinigami's eyes narrowed as it considered the request. "Sealing such immense power will require more than one soul," the god intoned gravely, its gaze fixed on the blonde Jinchuriki. "That is why I offer my soul as well," Gaara interjected, drawing the deity's attention to himself. "I can't let my brother face this fate alone," he added with a faint smirk, glancing at Naruto, who struggled to hold back tears at Gaara's words. "Kurama has also consented to offer his soul," Naruto continued, relaying the Kyuubi's message through their mental link. The Shinigami pondered for a moment before nodding. "The souls of two Kage and a Baiju. Yes, that will suffice." At that moment, the Juubi unleashed a furious roar, launching a Baiju Dama directly at Naruto. Gaara swiftly erected a colossal sand barrier to shield them from the attack. Seizing the opportunity, the Shinigami plunged the ethereal blade it carried into the Juubi's chest. The beast let out a final, agonized cry as it was drawn into the seal on Naruto's abdomen. Naruto screamed in agony as the overwhelming surge of natural energy was forcibly contained within his body. Seeing his creation vanquished, Madara attempted to flee, but the Shinigami captured and sealed him within Naruto as well. As the ritual concluded, the Shinigami extracted the souls of Naruto, Gaara, and Kurama, completing its task before departing back to its own realm. In the Shinigami's domain, Naruto awoke with a splitting headache, feeling as if Tsunade and Sakura had pummeled him simultaneously. He found himself lying in a large bed with black sheets, in a room with red walls accented by black stripes. The room was devoid of windows or any other furnishings. Groggily, Naruto rose from the bed and exited the room, entering a hallway identical in style to the room he had just left, but with a black carpet underfoot. He noted the absence of any other doors as he made his way down the corridor. At the hallway's end, he encountered a single door, similar to the one from his room. Opening it, he stepped into a grand meeting room. Inside, the Shinigami sat at a large table, flanked by two women on one side, with Gaara and an empty seat on the other. One of the women noticed Naruto and gestured for him to take the vacant seat beside Gaara. He complied, still somewhat disoriented. The woman in the center had long, snow-white hair and golden eyes that radiated a serene light. She wore a form-fitting golden kimono adorned with white petals. "I'm glad to see you're awake. I am Kami," she introduced herself with a warm smile that seemed to brighten the room. Naruto and Gaara's eyes widened in astonishment. "Kami?" they exclaimed in unison, utterly shocked to be in the presence of the goddess of light. Kami chuckled softly. "Yes, but we're not here to discuss me. We're here to talk about you, Naruto," she said, turning her attention to the now nervous Jinchuriki. "What do you mean?" Naruto asked, a hint of fear creeping into his voice. The second woman, who had remained silent until now, spoke up. She had long, flowing black hair reminiscent of the Uchiha clan, and her blood-red eyes and sharp canines gave her a fierce appearance, yet she exuded no malice. She was dressed in a black version of Kami's kimono, without the petal motif. "Indeed, we have an offer for you, Naruto. And I am Yami, goddess of darkness," she added, her smile both alluring and slightly menacing. "An offer?" Naruto repeated, his curiosity piqued despite his apprehension. "Indeed, we can revive both you and Gaara, should he choose to accept, but this will be in a different world, similar to your own yet with some distinctions. Should you decline, a residence in heaven will be provided for you and your loved ones, the deity explained to them. Gaara closed his eyes and responded, I decline. I appreciate the offer, but my family and wife are here, and that is all I desire. I have no wish to leave them while I am alive. The deity and his companions nodded in acknowledgement. Understood, and your reasoning is sound, Kami affirmed to the sand user. Naruto began, only to be interrupted by Gaara. Gaara gazed at his friend with unwavering seriousness. No, Naruto. You must go. I have everything I need here, whereas you do not. Go and start a new life, make friends, find a partner, and ensure that world does not meet the same fate as ours, Gaara urged. But, Naruto protested, but was cut off again. No more objections, Naruto? I have always trusted you, now trust me in accepting this opportunity, Gaara insisted with conviction. Naruto, tears streaming down his face, gazed at Gaara with wide eyes. All right, I'll trust you. He turned to the deities. I accept your offer. Kami smiled at Naruto. Excellent, but you will need a new outfit. With a snap of her fingers, Naruto was enveloped in smoke. When it cleared, he was clad in a black shirt over a metal mesh armor, baggy black pants with red stripes down the sides, and an orange sash at his waist. Over this, he wore his sage coat, now adorned with the kanji for heaven on the back, a hood trimmed with black flames, and a torn tail reminiscent of Ichigo's Bankai form. Wow, I look awesome! Naruto exclaimed, admiring his new attire. Indeed, Juubi-san, Yami responded with a grin, observing Naruto's reaction. Noting Naruto's puzzled expression, Yami continued, Oh, you weren't aware? Since you sealed the Juubi within yourself and then had its soul extracted, the Yoki fused with your body, making you the new Juubi. Congratulations! Naruto stared at Yami in shock, his mouth moving wordlessly before he fainted on the spot. Gaara looked down at his unconscious friend and sighed. I should have anticipated this, he said, standing up and giving Naruto a gentle kick to rouse him. Naruto glared at Gaara. Why did you kick me? He demanded, momentarily losing control over his new power. His chakra surged to unprecedented levels, his eyes shifting from cobalt blue to an intense red, with 4 black rings encircling his eyes, resembling a Rinnegan but with 3 tomoe in the first 3 rings. As Naruto regained composure, he panted heavily, his eyes bloodshot and bleeding from the corners. He looked up at the 3 deities. What was that? He inquired. That is the power you have acquired from the Juubi, the Shinigami replied. I will place a seal on you to regulate your chakra output, ensuring you do not exceed the energy levels of the Kyuubi. The god chuckled, causing the entire room to tremble. Naruto nodded and extended his right arm. On the back of his hand, a seal appeared, resembling an inverted triangle with 3 additional triangles pointing towards it at each tip. The seal, black with a faint blue glow, was designed to contain 8 tails of power, leaving him with only 2. This seal restricts 8 tails of your power while allowing you to retain control over the remaining 2. You may release and reseal them at will, Yami explained to the blonde, who acknowledged with a nod. Naruto and Gaara stood, shaking hands. This is where we part ways, Gaara, Naruto said. The moment felt poignant, they had been each other's sole companions in their final moments, and now they were separating. Gaara, usually stoic, had a tear trailing down his right cheek. Indeed, it is, Nissan. I would accompany you, but I have those waiting for me in the afterlife. Meeting you has given me hope, and for that, I will always remember you, Gaara responded to his blonde counterpart. The 3 deities exchanged glances and nodded. The Shinigami approached the pair. We can infuse part of each of your souls into a weapon that will symbolize your bond. This will enable you to communicate through a spiritual link and aid Naruto, especially given his impending challenges with his new powers and chakra control, the god of death explained. The 2 former Jinchuriki exchanged a brief look before nodding in agreement. The Shinigami smiled, drawing out a small orb from each of them, Gaara's was sand-colored with a green core, and Naruto's was crimson with a black core. The death god merged the orbs, and a burst of light filled the chamber. As the light subsided, a katana appeared in a dark tan scabbard with a black hilt and red grip. The guard was shaped like a 10-pointed star with red and gold tips. This is Sabukaka's, Desert Wind, the physical manifestation of your bond with Gaara, Naruto? While the specifics are unclear, this sword grants you limited control over sand and the ability to perform wind attacks, the Shinigami said as he handed the sword to Naruto. When do I leave? Naruto inquired, noticing the god's cryptic smiles that suggested something unsettling might occur. Now, Kami replied, snapping her fingers. In an instant, Naruto vanished, leaving his seat empty. Kami turned to Gaara, gesturing for him to follow. Time to reunite you with your family, Gaara, she said, leading the redhead away. Sky over Konoha. The inhabitants of Konoha witnessed an explosion of light erupting from the village center, cascading a spectrum of colors over the fire country. A tremendous surge of chakra swept through the village, causing the ground to tremble and crack. The sheer intensity of the energy caused civilians and Genin alike to lose consciousness. A beam of golden light descended upon the area in front of the Hokage Tower. The remaining ninjas, braced for action, gathered around the source of the light. Even the Hokage, clad in battle armor and accompanied by Enma in his staff form, was present. As the blinding light dissipated, it revealed a tall teenager, approximately 16 years old, with spiky blonde hair and blue eyes. His face was angular, marked by 3 whisker-like scars on each cheek. His build was muscular, reminiscent of a boxer rather than the more imposing raikages. Upon seeing the young man, the collective thought echoed among the witnesses, Yondaime-sama. Hiruzen approached the man who stood still, meticulously observing his surroundings. Minato, is that you? He inquired, addressing the blonde figure who had emerged from the blinding light. Naruto gazed at the man with wide eyes. The individual before him was Hiruzen Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage, who had passed away years earlier during the invasion of the Sound and Sand villages. Noticing the collective attention he was receiving, Naruto spoke up. Actually, no. My name is Naruto. May we speak privately? He requested, scratching the back of his head. The elderly Hokage nodded and gestured for Naruto to follow. As the other ninjas dispersed, one remained, a 15-year-old girl with long blonde hair styled in twin pigtails reaching her lower back. In an instant, she vanished without leaving a trace. Hokage's office. The two entered the expansive room where the Hokage conducted his duties and managed the village. Hiruzen, though aged, exuded a commanding presence as he sat behind his desk, his fingers interlocked and resting on the surface. Hiruzen initiated the conversation with a straightforward query. From where do you hail? Although a simple question, it was crucial for the Hokage to ascertain the origin of those who arrived unexpectedly in his village. Naruto smirked. From my mother, he replied, eliciting a momentary look of bewilderment from the Sandaime. Naruto chuckled at the old man's reaction. I meant which country, Hiruzen clarified, pinching the bridge of his nose in exasperation. Naruto nodded, performing a hand seal. Tsukiyomi, he intoned, his eyes transforming into red Rinnegan with 9 tomoe. Tsukiyomi realm. Hiruzen found himself in a desolate crater surrounded by the remnants of what appeared to be houses. The sky was red, and a black moon hung overhead. Naruto materialized before him. This is my home. This is Konoha, Naruto said solemnly. Hiruzen's eyes widened in disbelief as he surveyed the devastation. You must be lying. This cannot be Konoha. Naruto began to weep. This is indeed not your Konoha. This is my Konoha, the one from my dimension, my home. This is the result of my ultimate failure, he said, his tears flowing freely. Hiruzen, disturbed by the sight of someone with such power and tears, struggled to reconcile this with his perception of strength. So this really is Konoha. Tell me, how did this happen? Naruto wiped his tears and looked up. It began when the Kyuubi attacked. He recounted the events involving the Akatsuki, the war, his transformation into the Juubi, and his conversations with the gods. As the genjutsu dissipated, Hiruzen regarded Naruto with a serious expression. "Do you wish to protect Konoha?" he asked. Naruto nodded in affirmation. "Then, by the authority granted to me by the Fire Daimyo, I bestow upon you the rank of Genin of Konoha. Report to the academy tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to be assigned to a Genin team," the Hokage declared. "And please, conceal your true strength. The fewer questions, the better," he added with a grandfatherly smile. "May I ask you a few questions, Hokage-sama?" Naruto inquired. "Well, that was a question, wasn't it?" Hiruzen responded with a smirk. Naruto looked at him flatly, prompting the Sandaime to chuckle at his expense. "Very well, proceed with your questions." Naruto nodded. "Who are the current clan heirs?" he asked. "That is straightforward. All of them are in the same class and are set to graduate this year. Representing the Hyuga clan is Hinata Hyuga, the eldest daughter of the current heir, Hyashi Hyuga. From the Inuzuka clan, we have Inako Inuzuka, daughter of Tsume Inuzuka. The Uchiha clan is represented by Sayuri Uchiha, daughter of Mikoto and Fugaku Uchiha. From the Yamanaka clan, there is Ino, the daughter of Inoiki Yamanaka, along with the heirs to the Akimichi and Nara clans, Choji Akimichi and Shikamaru Nara. Additionally, Shino Aburame represents the Aburame clan. Finally, from the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans, there are yourself and Narumi." The third Hokage addressed the new Juubi's inquiry. Naruto closed his eyes, reflecting on the information. "So in this world, Sasuke, Kiba, and I are female, while the others are of the same gender as their counterparts," he mused. He realized that his life would be forever changed and that a new chapter was about to begin. "Hokage-sama, could you tell me about Narumi and the status of her parents within the village?" The elderly Hokage nodded in acknowledgement. Indeed, she was informed of her abilities at the age of 5 and has trained for the past decade under Jiraiya. She has mastered the Rasengan and a less advanced, though weaker, version of the Hiraishin. The Hokage responded to the Juubi's inquiry. "Is she aware of the Namikaze bloodline?" Naruto inquired. Hiruzen's eyes widened in surprise. "A bloodline?" he exclaimed. He was unaware that Minato possessed a bloodline. In fact, even Minato himself was unaware of it. "Yes, the Jinten, swift release. My father was unaware of it, but it explained his natural speed, independent of the Hiraishin. I discovered it when an elderly man from the Iron Country recognized a technique I used by accident and informed me about it," Naruto explained to the village leader. "Well, this is indeed promising news," Hiruzen mused. "It means Konoha now possesses an additional bloodline. Could you demonstrate your Kekkei Genkai?" Naruto nodded and proceeded to perform the necessary hand signs. "Jinten, shadowless flight," he declared. Instantly, he vanished from sight and reappeared moments later with 2 bowls of ramen. He placed one in front of the Hokage and began eating his own. "Fascinating. The Jinten grants you the ability to move at extremely high velocities," Sarutobi concluded from the demonstration. He accepted the bowl of ramen and instructed an Anbu member to escort Naruto to his lodging until further discussions with Narumi could be arranged. Once Naruto departed, Hiruzen turned to the wall on his left. "Are you there, Jiraiya?" he inquired as the wall retracted to reveal another figure. Jiraiya, a tall man with waist-length, spiky white hair tied back in a ponytail and framed by 2 shoulder-length bangs, emerged. He had distinctive red markings under his eyes, wore a horned forehead protector with the kanji for oil, indicating his association with Mount Myaboku, and had a wart on the left side of his nose. Dressed in a green short kimono and matching pants with visible mesh armor beneath, he was also equipped with hand guards, a black belt, traditional wooden sandals, a red haori adorned with 2 yellow circles, and a scroll on his back. A tattoo adorned his left palm. "Yes, I'm here. What did the boy have to say?" Jiraiya asked. Hiruzen then relayed all the information Naruto had shared during the Tsukuyomi. "What is your assessment, Jiraiya?" Hiruzen asked his former student. "It sounds implausible, but his details are accurate, including the fact that I trained Nagato and Konan, information known only to you, me, Tsunade, and Orochimaru. I recommend keeping a close watch on him until we can ascertain whether he is aligned with any particular faction," Jiraiya advised the Hokage. That concludes Part 1. Please stay tuned for the subsequent installments. In the meantime, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support. Best regards. Anime Dreams.